Hi, I'm reading a book called On the Road by Kerouac. This book I read maybe 10 or 20 years ago for the first time, and I remember I really enjoyed it. And but this summer I started to read the book again, because when I first time I read it, that I think I remember I read it by audio book. That's why I really I remember I enjoyed it. But as soon as the audio experience is finished, I think all the memory is gone mostly, and so the memory of having fun, listening to that audio book. Other than that, I don't remember specific. But this time I have a book, so I started to read more seriously, and I started to feel, wow, this book is so American. The American dreams I used to have when I was in Japan, and I think this particular book was like a starting about 1948, which is the year I was born. And so during that time, I think the old American culture, just about the car culture, for example, traveling by automobile is very common, and hitchhiking is was very popular at that time. And so I grew up in the culture, watching all those American TV program, like a Route 66, for example. The two guys traveling from east to west and south and so forth by car, and seeing those people, the local people, and interacting with them. And so that was like I remember that I really enjoyed. So in my brain, the typical American was like that, very adventurous, very free-spirited, and fun-loving people. On the road, so it is the culture that I kind of aspired, dreamt of for American culture, American youth at that time, 1950s culture. I really loved it when I was in Japan. Japan at that time was very different from, it's not as free as that. And of course, if you live in the countryside or Tokyo, whatever, people are very I don't know, they don't have much freedom. They don't, if they have a car, the gas price is very like 3 or 4 times more expensive than US, and so you don't have that much luxury to traveling by car. But when I was in Japan, when I was right after my college, I think I have several friends who had a car, and so experience of driving various places, mountain resort, was very fun. And that particular freedom of going from one place to the other as you wish, as you like. You have a freedom to go anywhere, and that particular feeling was very fun. So yeah, I got that particular fun memory driving, and also watching the TV, American TV, doing that. And this particular book is exactly that. So when I started to read again a couple of weeks ago, I really started to enjoy this particular book, and it's about this particular guy, Jack Kerouac. I think it's almost like a semi-autographical fiction, but I think it's a fiction, but it's all based on his own experience of hitchhiking and driving by car in the United States. So all the places, you know, there's a part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is like when he was younger. He was hitchhiked, and mostly hitchhiked and visiting friends in a different place. And so, you know, starting from New York, East Coast area, and going hitchhiking to Chicago, Iowa City, Iowa, which I also studied there. So it was kind of interesting for me myself, that my own experience of being there, you know, Chicago, Iowa City, Iowa, Denver, Colorado, and you know, like San Francisco, Los Angeles, you know, the Las Vegas, and all these places that I visited. And so, wow, yeah, that's gonna be very much fun things to do. So yeah, my only the fun memories of visiting those places was kind of depicted in this particular book, especially part 1. And in part 2, there's more detail, more like a, you know, very crazy type of lifestyle of young people who you know, this time driving a car. He has this particular friend. I think the best friend of his is the Dean. His name is Dean. This Dean characters are very much like you know, if you want to have a friend who is very charismatic and fun-loving person, that's the Dean there. The Dean was modeled as a real character by Jack Kerouac's friends called Neil Cassidy. And yeah, that particular story is about Neil and Jack Kerouac experience. And that particular photo is on top of this particular book. And so I really recommend that you guys taking a plunge on this particular book. Other characters like Allen Ginsberg also appeared there. I forgot his fictional name in this particular story, particular book. It's in there, and there are lots of the Barrows. I think the Southern Riders, I think, is in there too. So evidently Jack Kerouac had an experience of those people when he was in New York City, and based on those they created this characters. And I think this particular travelogue, mostly driving or hitchhiking, is based on his own experience, I would say. And I could tell from the way he writes, it's very, very realistic, very autobiographical type of writing. And I think my conjecture is that, that's probably like more than 50% is a true story-based story there. So that was kind of I would say, one of the things that interests me most, because when I read those things and based on the true story, I would kind of drawn into it, because reflecting on my own true story, and kind of agreed. This is 1940s or 1950s stories, and which I kind of got familiar through TV program and so forth. So very, very intimate relationship with friends, and those friends are very freewheeling and fun-loving, kind of a little bit intellectual side of friends there. And so those friends you really, really appreciate to being around, and follow them or being followed or whatever. And so that kind of a friendship, I think even today I would like to have. So I think that's where this particular book's strengths are there, because of those relationships with friends, and having fun of lifetime. And those funs are very freewheeling and spontaneous, and it reminds you that when you're younger, you are congregated with your friends and having fun. It's exactly that. And when you get older, you lose those friends, because people get more busier life and more serious life. So in that sense, it kind of reminds me when I was younger, and reminds me of this particular fun that I had, driving the countryside, or going to the restaurant, hanging out with other kids, drinking, or whatever it is. And that particular sentiment is all there, especially like a driving, hitchhiking culture of 1950s, which I really, it symbolized the American culture that I admired at that time when I was young, and so it's all in there. So for whom who grew up 1950s, 60s, I think really, I think this reminds you that that this is the culture they grew up with, and the culture that even today remains very, very strong in some extent, but today's are very much different. I think more people are more or less internet driven and more individualistic driven culture. But at that time, I think people look for friends all the time, look for fun with friends, and especially when you have a freedom with driving a car to anywhere you want in the US. I think that's tremendously enviable fun there, especially coming from Japan. US is huge, and I understand why U.S. has this automobile culture established. There is no much transportation system here, and no wonder the car culture is very, very strong here. So yeah, I really recommend this particular book. Beautifully written and very sophisticated writing, and it's almost like sentences, and it's like a very, very dense contents in one sentence. And I really appreciate the particular writing. You know, and it's always line by line. It's filled with like fun, loving, excitement, and so forth. So yeah, I recommend. Okay, bye.